So we're back. Couple little bit of hiatus from
Yep.
Thanksgiving. You know, you try to get on a schedule, and of course, life happens. World Cup, Thanksgiving. The show name has changed also, right? We're going to TVU Talk. It's a working title. It might change again. It might change every time. We don't know, right? Just
Yeah, maybe that's our thing, right? That there's people who wear like different ties every time. I try and wear, different t-shirts,
there.
around the office and whatnot. We could have a different name for the show, which I imagine would explain our low viewership, frankly, because no one can find it.
We'll get there, right? Rome wasn't built in a day, one day at a time. So
We're doing it differently too, though, this time, are we not?
yeah, so we've got a much bigger view, right? Because there's just two of us in party line. I'm kind of coming in as a what's the word here? I'm running it also. Like I'm in the view of what somebody who enters in to it looks like, right? Before I was running the party line. This time you're chief in charge, but we're gonna go into producer here in a second and kind of show you how two people can kind of work together to use producer. So I think I could explain it. I've got a pretty good idea, but I'm still running on the fact of that I'm about 2 months in here, and so this show is revolving around TVU producer. Adam, what is TVU producer? Like, what's the overarching view of it?
Sure. Well, producer is our production system. It's our remote production system that's essentially a switcher online. It's an audio mixer. It's a graphic overlay, instant replay. It's literally a control room in the cloud. So think of the power that you have in a control room of your switcher, and how powerful that is, or your graphics driver, your audio board, all those things at stations, anyhow, are quite powerful, but they sit there unused for huge chunks of the day. And what this does is using the power of really tons of those, and making them all active at once. So you have sort of unlimited streams you can be doing, unlimited power to drive everything, which, if we jump over, I don't know if the view you're showing right now is from producer, but in that you're a source, I'm a source. And then I've also got this YouTube video playing from a live thing we did in Philippines, I believe, earlier this week. And it's as simple as just hitting, dissolve, and you flip between the program output and the preview. I can go ahead and switch between you, who's
All
in
right,
program.
let's. I don't have the view yet. We'll get there in one
Oh,
second. See, you're jumping the gun. See, I'm trying to do the deep tease, right, and you're
okay.
going in right into it. One thing I do want to say about producer, kind of before I show it, is that it can do a lot, right? It's extremely powerful. Master control, all of that in the cloud. Put videos up, different feeds. One thing that I think is so important to know is that this isn't necessarily like we're not trying to do it like a major event from producer, right? Like right now, we can be done, right? Maybe not the full show. You can do it, but we're thinking like spin-off talk shows, right? Having those on the road podcasts. Like those are the things that get me so excited about it. Like, yeah, you could do an entire production all run through it if you want to, right?
And through stuff like Sidecar, Josh, like, which is a separate product we'll get into later, but you can create shortcuts that will allow you to do all of that. And we do integrate with like Blackbird for editing, different stuff like that. So you could do super high end, but to that point, what you're doing is sort of prosumer level uh, production, basically, for next to nothing. And the quality is significantly higher than you get with like an OBS or something like that. That's free.
Yeah, no,
That's
100%.
basically the difference.
So I'm going to change my view for 1 second, right? And I'm going to go in and bear with me as I am learning just as much. So right now we're looking at party line. Okay. The view now is entering producer, and you see I play League of Legends, so it's kind of a testing thing for me. It was like League of Josh, so I can have as far as I know, as many shows as I need to be a part of, look at, work through all of that for support or whatever it is. But right now you see TVU Talk working title. Now Adam has already fired up the production for us. Okay, the show is good, and I am just gonna hit enter, and 99%. Go through, hit OK. We don't have graphics set up for this hit. That'll be next time. But now we're looking at the view of producer, right? And I'm going to play pretend for a second, right? And I'm going to remove me from this source, and I'm going to remove Adam, right? And so you see nothing except this video that is playing through YouTube on producer. So that is not a screen recorded video or anything. That is Adam has put in the YouTube link. It has pulled that video, correct? I'm not speaking wrong.
Yeah, and so I just threw that into the active program on the right-hand side here of the screen where it says program. So that's the current program output. Cool. And because you took out the other sources, what's in preview over there with the green box around it, like standard preview, is nothing, because all that's in there, it gives a slate that says TV producer, so you understand, hey, there's you need a source, and then adding a source is literally seconds.
Yep, that's what I'm showing right now. We're gonna he doesn't get to see the full view right now, right? He's handicapped here. Let me go choose participant, Adam, number 1, add source. That's instant. Sometimes it takes a couple seconds. You're literally there as soon as I hit enter, right?
And then as soon as you click on me, that puts me in the preview, assuming you're seeing preview and program on your end there.
Yep.
And then I can switch, and now I'm the program outsource. And I'm taking over here in preview, which is now the video that was playing, and I'm changing that to you.
Yep.
And so, standard talk show format, we can just be going back and forth like that between each other. We could, however we want to set it up with a million different effects. I know I'm partial to star wipes, but I didn't have time to set it up. But like literally all I had to do is click on something to import that one. I think there's 86 effects already loaded, something like that.
So what year was Star Wipes? What year did that come out, right? The Star Wipes, is that like 85?
Myself. So yeah, I learned on a Chiron Infinite in 87, I suppose, how to do television graphics. And one of the selling points of it was you could do star wipes. And so even then it was obsolete, but it was still funny. So yeah, big fan of the star wipes.
Yeah, we talk about star wipes all day, but it's not the...
Yeah, but we should probably talk about our stuff.
Yeah, I know, right? So one thing that we talked about the last show, right, is the ability for kind of our products and how they tie in, right? So we were in Party Line. We're still in Party Line right now, right? I haven't left that channel, and that's actually how we're hearing each other right now, is through Party Line. Okay.
Right.
So we can be talking to talent if we need to. We're not messing with the audio mixer right now because I'm recording the screen. And so that could potentially add some pain points there for us. You generally wouldn't be doing this here. So, but there is an audio mixer where you can mute people, or you can be talking in Party Line. You can have multiple Party Lines set up. You can add those sources. But one thing that's so great and so easy is that I'm just going to share my screen in Party Line, right? I'm going to select screen 1, right? Then I'm sharing on Party Line. I'm going to go to producer. I'm going to add source. I will go over here to Party Line. It's right there. Our Party Line's already added in there. Please choose your participants. So Adam, Josh, we're already added. This number right here, I know that is our screen record. Add to source. Might take a second or two. I know a screen record is not as quick as the video. So, and then there we go, right? And then again, bandwidth issues. I have a lot going on right now. But when you're outputting that source, it's clear, right? It's probably clear. It's honestly probably clear for Adam right now than it is for me. Just
right,
because...
exactly. And then the you notice the lack of latency, right? As you move your hands around and stuff like that. And part of the reason you have the audio set up the way you do, as opposed to coming out of producer, for example, that 1/100th of a second of audio delay is actually quite distracting if it's like feeding back in a loop, because we're showing what we're broadcasting and recording it at the same time. So you sort of get a wah, 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 as we learned when we were testing stuff a little earlier. But the other cool thing in Party Line, you see, I'm a source, Josh is a source, we got video. We could just as easily have, it's a call-in show if we wanted, and we'll build to that, obviously, with some guests. But I can let all those guests talk amongst themselves. I can section them out, where 3 people are talking amongst 3. Say you're doing a political show and you want people on the left to talk amongst themselves and people on the right can talk amongst themselves. And then our producer, when we're big time, we'd have one, can jump in the ear of all those folks and be like, hey, hold on, we're going to go ahead and go to the blue folks now. And so you can, section it out almost like an IFB any way you want to talk to different people and keep everyone in queue, and then really to drag them into the program is just like an input on any switcher, right? Once it's there and it's hitting a button.
Yep.
And it's instantly working. Audio travels with it. You can get super fancy and adjust all the audio levels, the reverb, all that. We'll get into the audio mixer later because it is, pretty intense. And I had someone at a show in New York a couple weeks ago who was like, man, this is better than my mixer at my station. Like there's so many choices. While it's not everyone's going to get into that level of tweaking audio, if you're an audiophile, it's pretty cool to play with. If you just want it to sound right, yeah, it's already set to that, and it adjusts naturally. Even for a mumbler like myself, it sort of makes you sound a little better.
I feel the producer in my ear right now. Like we're coming out at time, right? I got about 2 minutes left.
Contest. So, don't forget the contest.
We got the contest. Want to make sure that we've got about, what's today, 6 days left? Yeah, it's 6 days left. So make sure you get your name in, right? That's a huge piece of equipment. I mean, I guess it's a small piece of equipment, but it is powerful and it is huge for production if you're able to get it. We could talk for producer for hours. Like literally, there's so many things. We can show 4 boxes. We have all these different sources. But one thing I want to make sure that talking about TVU and talking about that, obviously the TVU1 feeds can come in here just as easily as the feeds of adding someone, right? The same way with the mobile TVU Anywhere app, right? Like having that, adding them is super simple. We can show that next time as well. But, in the dream scenario, right? If you want to, I won't say names or anything, we had somebody reach out and they're looking at doing a mobile podcast, right? They're going to create a van, move around. And if your podcasters, if they have a cell phone, then you have a high quality camera that's going to be able to get really good signal because it aggregates, multiple feet. If you have Wi-Fi or if you don't, right, it's going to give you the best thing possible. And then you can have 4 people talking, 4 different angles, single shots, and anybody can control it. Me and Adam right now are able to control this. He was changing things. I was changing things. So the talent can do it. You can have a producer. You can have whatever you want there. You can have 100 people, right? Or you can have 1. And that's the great thing, that it's really scalable. And that's something that I think is so incredibly important.
And one of the questions that people are scared to ask, but it's the most important one to a lot of people, right, is what's all this cost? And because you're using so many potentially different programs, you can be using Party Line, Producer, you'd be stacking things, captioning, like all of our services are individual services, but the way it works is it's $35 an hour per user.
Yep.
So, where something like this, what we're doing right now, if we're out putting to Facebook, YouTube, all the places we want this to go, $35 an hour to produce. And frankly, it should look a lot better than it does. But, we're just 2 guys in our...
You've been here for about a year or so. I've been here for 2 months. We're figuring it out, which I think is exciting for me because I kind of get to play this character of, not even playing a character, but I'm like, I don't know. And so we're figuring it out and we're kind of finding these pay points. And then one thing that about TVU is that if we have bugs, we had a product manager in here 5 minutes before we started recording, and he was like, ooh, that user interface is like, oh, let's change that. And boom, he goes right to the other product manager, start working, start to fix. So we're always improving, always working on getting things better. So we'll be talking again soon. Talking next week as well. If you guys aren't already following us on any of our social media, again, the giveaway is huge. We have a webinar coming up on December 8th at 1 p.m. You can register for it. It is open. We're going to be talking about how to monetize content, kind of how it ties in with producer and things of that nature, but it's about Channel Plus. But other than that, make sure you ring the bell to find out when we upload these videos, and be sure to like, follow, and subscribe. Got to hit that like classic YouTuber, right? Like it is. All right, Adam, I'll talk to you soon. And thank you so much for watching.
Take care.